All right, so it's a bad day on Wall Street, or is it? As of the recording of this video, the Dow's down about 350 points, but we have earnings coming out of Salesforce, Kohl's, and other companies. Their stocks are plunging. I think as of the recording of this video, Salesforce stock is down 20% on the day, if I got my numbers right. And it's because the economy is actually cratering. Yet Best Buy comes out with earnings, and their stock, when the story came out, was up, and actually based on bad news. So the question is, where are we in reality right now? Because it seems like bad news is good news, and good news, there just isn't any of it. So it's the eternally optimistic human beings or investors that are just building up this stock market. So I got my cardboard notes. Kohl's stock plummets 25% after massive earnings miss. It says the share plummeted more than 25% on Thursday after the company posted a surprise loss per share. A surprise. Is it any surprise that people are no longer buying clothes as often as they used to because of the cost of inflation is rising? It shouldn't be a surprise. And I believe you're seeing that tipping point that we've came out with these bad numbers for a while, and they're just going to keep getting worse. It says here, this surprise share sell-off, the surprise earnings, or let's say lack thereof, was a complete shock to Wall Street's expectations for a slight profit. So you have a company that Wall Street executives are going, oh, it's going to be good. We're going to profit. They're going to be great. But all of a sudden, it's not. And that's the funny thing about economic, buildups and downturns. Everything's great until it's not. And it's that light bulb that goes off in most people's minds and goes, oh, things are bad. Things aren't good. And then they instantly stop buying. Well, the sad thing is usually that's because the government comes out and officially says, okay, we're in a recession. We're no longer, profiting as a country. Our GDP is stalling or it's going down. So now it's okay to freak out. But we now have an administration that just goes, this is easy. We'll just change the definition of a recession. And that'll fool people. And if we can get the war machine spending money like crazy right now, if we could build a bunch of factories and warehouses in America trying to coerce Taiwan to come over here because they're about to be invaded by China, and if they do it too soon, we're going to be completely out of the semiconductor business altogether. I mean, think about it. We live in a country where we create semiconductors. Silicon Valley became an explosive, bed for growth and finance in California because of our advancements in America in the silicon chip, processing chip industry. But then we farm all of the building of those chips out to cheaper labor all around the world. And now we're at threat of losing our share of the market because of geopolitical threats. It absolutely blows my mind. But let's get back into the stock market because, Wall Street, all these pros are just being completely shocked. There are companies like Goldman Sachs that says, hey, we're still reaffirming our buy rating on some of these stocks. We think it's going to turn around. Yet today they're just, it's a surprise. I don't think it's a surprise. What I think, honestly, is there are wealthy individuals out there that are looking for the general population to become their liquidity. They want you to buy certain stocks as they're getting out. But if they don't have buyers, they can't sell without forcing the price downward. And that is a very, very scary proposition. Now let's move on to Salesforce. Salesforce shares tumble 19%. And I know as of the recording of this video, it's already down more, but it's on pace for the worst day since 2004. It's interesting when you see numbers and you hear about, we haven't seen the housing market this bad since 10, 15 years ago. We haven't seen stocks drop since 10 or 15 years ago. And you start looking back, well, what was happening 10 or 15 years ago? Oh, that's right. We were in the Great Recession, a time where millions of people were either underemployed or being laid off of their jobs. Things were hurting. People were losing their homes. But 10 or 15 years later, you forget and you go, oh, that can't happen again. This time it's different. Well, it is different. Our government right now is printing $1 trillion every 100 days to keep this illusion. While today, Salesforce drops. It says the drop comes after Salesforce on Wednesday reported fiscal first quarter results that missed Wall Street's estimates for revenue for the first time since 2006. Now think about that. Since 2006, this is the first time they've missed estimates. Even through all of the pandemic and the shutdown, Salesforce, you're telling me, was able to crush it each one of those times, but now they're not able to? Okay, so then that goes without saying that this time is different. It says here, and this is well, first off, it says, the cloud software vendor said revenue for the period increased 11% to $9.13 billion, which was shy of the $9.17 billion expected by analysts, according to LSEG. So there are a lot of people that say, well, they're still growing. Their revenue is growing. Well, here's the problem. Their costs are rising. That's why they're missing those estimates. Their costs are rising because of inflation. As a matter of fact, another talking head from the Fed just came out on CNBC and said, I'm blanking on which one it was, the name. He says, don't worry, inflation's still up there, but it's coming down soon. It's like you're being just completely lied to, just egged on. It's okay. It's going to turn around. It's going to turn around as the whole mountain's on fire behind you. It's going to go out soon, and all you see in front of that fire is unburnt grass, unburnt trees, unburnt fuel, just ripe for the burning. And you're like, wait a minute. What's he trying to prove to us? And that's the thing. I see it all over right now, the nation. They have no idea that they're running into or running off a monetary cliff. Now, a Citi analyst said about Salesforce, said broader macroeconomic challenges returned with a vengeance during Salesforce first quarter. They noted that the period had also been weaker for the software companies, but that execution issues and changes to Salesforce go-to-market strategy also brought on additional issues. Let me ask you this. How many people watching this video could actually see and feel what was going on in 2006, 2007, and went, something's not right, but you didn't do anything about it? You just kept going on. Maybe you were at a dinner party, you're talking with friends, and you're like, man, this can't go on forever. I heard that phrase a lot. But the people telling me weren't actively saving their money. They weren't actively making decisions like, we shouldn't go on that vacation. Let's pay off the credit card. They weren't doing those things. Sure, they could tell you all day long nowadays, oh, we saw it coming. We saw that recession coming. But they really didn't. People had a gut feeling, and most people don't know how to take a gut feeling and actually do something about it. So with that being said, to all the people that lived through the Great Recession, people lost houses, people lost their jobs. Back then, they didn't prepare for it. How many of you are actually doing something about it now? We're entering a time of hyperinflation. There's no doubt about it. You can't print that much money and not watch these prices completely skyrocket. And the other question is, are you preparing not as and this is where I think a lot of people get misled, because they used to use that the term preppers and all that stuff, sort of demonize that idea. There are people that go and hide in caves and they just sort of cower. This is the greatest opportunity of our lives as we enter this next phase of the economy collapse. Why wouldn't you take advantage of it? I mean, honestly, we're trying to warn more and more people, and I mean, how many people actually listen? 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20. And then out of those people that listen to you and are nice to you and not treating you like you're crazy, how many of those people actually actively start to invest in the right way? Think about all the people that bought gold a few years back and we're trying to warn other people, and they were constantly told by their family and friends that they've gone off the rocker. Hey, sorry, you've gone off the reservation. Yet now you see things like silver outperforming the S&P 500. And it's funny because over the long term, the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ will always grow because your currency is being destroyed, because more of it's being printed and not given to you. But you think you're getting wealthy. And what also really blows me away is the waves in which these recessions come. It seems like when it's the bulk of the people that are retiring. And in the last couple of years, we've seen a massive amount of people retire, even before they were had originally planned. When the nation shut down and everything went to crap in a handbasket, I saw so many people just completely give up and say, you know what? I'm done. I'm walking from the job. I'm going to do early retirement. And now a lot of them are on fixed incomes, and they are in a place where they don't have a lot of options. And right now, honestly, they don't really think much of it. They go, oh, no, things are good. Everything's great. We're coming out of this. Hopefully the next guy that comes in to run the country does a better job, obviously, because I really do believe that most people that voted for this last president aren't even happy. But they don't think about the real ramifications of the economy. Now, last but not least, Best Buy. Here, Best Buy comes out with earnings, right? Their stock actually jumps. Check this out. Best Buy jumps 10% as cost cutting preserves profits despite, here's the key, sluggish sales. It says Best Buy missed Wall Street's quarterly sales expectations on Thursday as softer demand for consumer electronics persisted. However, the retailer beat on earnings per share and stuck by its full year forecast. So it said, and here's the last, it's perfect. Best Buy has noticed a pullback in purchases of discretionary items as consumers manage higher costs because of inflation. Well, let's get this right out in the open. Every single thing that Best Buy owns or sells is discretionary. There ain't nothing in that store that you need to walk into and go, if I don't buy this today, I'm not gonna survive. So let's call a spade a spade. Best Buy, you're in trouble. And let's make this really clear too. They're jumping because they saved their margins on cost cutting. Well, let me give you an example. I went into Best Buy the other day. Empty shelves everywhere. I have a feeling what they're doing is they're going lean on their inventory because they don't want to be paying excessive inventory tax on the stuff they can't sell, but also they want to focus on the things that they can sell, the lower priced items. That's the key with everything. We're seeing those kind of numbers coming out with Amazon, with everybody, Home Depot, Lowe's, they're all talking about it. People have pulled back their spending. So the recession is actually already here because of human behavior, but it's not here when you look at what Wall Street tells you. Now, the cool thing about this news is that this proves the fact that we're already in a downturn. I don't care what some fancy Harvard-educated economist tells you that drives around in a Lamborghini that he probably doesn't even own. The recession's already here. I'm asking you, what are you willing to do about it? Are you willing to not go out to dinner, once a week so that you can go and buy, 3 or 4 ounces of silver and set them aside right now? Are you willing to look at the booms that are happening in the cryptocurrency markets, because a lot of people have woken up to what's going on to the US dollar and how it's collapsing, and go, you know what? Maybe Bitcoin might be the answer. Not saying it's go put all your money into it, but you need to start looking at some other alternatives. And then we can actually, as a nation, grow because we're going to go crush it financially. See, that's the thing. You don't help anybody with good thoughts. Hey, look, I sent that person prayers. Cool. He's hungry. Go feed him. Well, I don't got the time for that. What do you mean? I got to go to work. Why? To go make money? Well, and most people are barely making it. Well, wealth is actually what goes and changes the world. Wealth is what helps people. As a matter of fact, if you look at our government right now, they're so busy buying votes by just promising people prosperity if you'll just vote a certain way, and not realizing it's just yet another lie. So put down below what you're willing to do right now and to make that sacrifice to better your life, your family's life, but then the lives of your neighbors and ultimately the world. I'm not joking. It's time to get real. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.